Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro. Let's take a look at the forecast that I have written for the new moon in Aries, which is occurring on March the 24th at 5:28 a.m. and it will be at 4 degrees 12 minutes of the cardinal fire sign of Aries. So the image that I chose for this horoscope comes from Noelle T. I don't know her last name, and this is one of her paintings called Travel with the Moon, about all the traveling we are able to do right now while we are housebound is literally within our own imagination and within our own house, and the activities that we decide to do there and potentially on the internet for those who are connected online. So let's read through. New moon in Aries, Tuesday, March 24th, brings your attention to your health and daily needs on a material level and raises questions of purpose and destiny on the soul level, as the moon joins Chiron in Aries and forms a square aspect to the North Node in Cancer. How will you take care of yourself and your family, and how will the government and other structured organizations respond to the needs of society and individuals while facing a world crisis affecting your ability to commute and connect and engage in commerce? A trine between Venus in Taurus and Jupiter, Pluto, and Mars in Capricorn is supportive of actions that can be taken by the government to fix problems financially, but there is resistance due to a square aspect between Saturn, newly arrived in Aquarius, and Aquarius's ruling planet Uranus in Taurus. The abuse of power in the old Capricorn patriarchal establishment is being challenged by a non-discriminating virus that presents a threat to physical and financial health to all equally. Inequality must be addressed. Oops, I have a typo there. And the Saturn-Uranus square indicates it is no longer time to do things the old way. In your personal life, you are also facing the challenge of no longer being able to do things the old way. A funny horoscope is circulating online with the forecast of, you'll be spending time at home for all 12 signs. While that may be true for most of us, the planets still transit through our natal charts, activating houses, also known as areas of life, and a new moon will always bring our attention to the house where it occurs. No matter what house this new moon highlights for you today, Aries rules the first house of self, and its ruling planet is Mars, a planet of action and anger. An Aries moon transit can activate impatience, but it can also energize and embolden you to initiate something, advocate for yourself, or commit to a personal new beginning or improvement plan. Think of all the things you said you would do if you only had the time, but you were too busy working. If you find yourself with no work and plenty of time, it's time to act on your if-onlys. So let's take a look at the planetwatcher.com, where we can see the transiting planets at the moment of the new moon when the sun and moon join each other in Aries, and you can see that they are tightly conjunct Chiron. I plan on doing a recording in the next day or so on the comparisons between the Spanish influenza of 1918 and what was going on astrologically then, plus what's going on now. And right off the top of my head, I can tell you that there was a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, as there is now, and there was also Chiron in Aries at the same degree, approximately. Very close. So we have some of the same things going on. We also had some harsh Pluto aspects as we have now. I believe in 1918 it was a Pluto and Chiron aspect, and what we have going on right now is a Pluto to Uranus aspect. So things are definitely tense, and people's lives and destinies are very much going through some examination and having to advocate for ourselves or speak up for ourselves in the midst of all of this, and to make demands upon the structures within society that are supporting us in this Capricorn energy up here is part of what we need to do as a whole, and society is going to undergo shifts and changes from the old traditional format represented by Capricorn to doing things with a new structure or form that may be more society oriented rather than who's an old white man in a suit, or who has more money, and looking more at what's going to serve society and humanity as a whole, as we see Saturn making its move here into Aquarius. And we will have a retrograding of Saturn from May to September. I don't have the exact dates up, but we are going to have both Saturn and Jupiter doing some retrograding May to September. I don't know if that's going to bring a shift in the numbers of cases and if things are going to diminish in terms of the coronavirus. I really can't judge based on just those two planets. It's going to be requiring more of a looking at week to week and month to month and all the other planets when I do the comparison between 1918 and now and see if this is going to follow a similar course. We have similar things in place. The difference is that we have technology. We are much more advanced, whereas during the Spanish flu, we had Saturn moving through Leo. We now have Saturn opposing, and it's moving through Aquarius. And we are much more advanced now in terms of our technology, but we are not as advanced, I think, in the humanitarian level or the level of government and society. However, I feel there is a great deal of hope and that people are going to come up with new ways of doing things as a whole. And I just read a news headline that the UN calls for cease of all war right now, all gunfire, in response to a pandemic, that we are all in this together. And one of the first things that I became aware of when I became aware of war when I was a very young child was the ridiculous horror of it, and why do we even choose it? Why do we do it? And it's something that I wanted to see and thought about as a young child, that when I become an adult, I don't want to be in a world where there is war, where that has to stop. It has to end. And if it takes a virus maybe to make us realize that peace is a better option than killing each other, hopefully something good comes out of this. And if it takes a virus to restructure the way we treat people and the world, well, good. It's a shame that it has to take a universal threat of death to make people want to live in a better or a different way. This new moon is very self-focused because it is in Aries, and maybe you do have to look at your own personal life and what you are doing. If you're happy doing what you are doing, what other things could you be doing? How can you utilize tools and resources that you have on hand? How can you make good use of your time? Or how can you simply be in control of yourself and your reactions and responses to things so that you can get through these days in a healthy and positive way, and be able to feel that you have some sense of control. The only thing we really can control in our lives is how we feel about things. Nobody else can tell us how to feel, and it's not negative or wrong to be scared or upset or any of those things, but observation, awareness and observation of your feelings, and then choosing to do things in a positive way anyway, or to change your thoughts and feelings and get on with your day, get on with life. The keep calm and carry on is very good, but also if there are things that you need to address, or if you feel that you need to express yourself in a way that's going to feel proactive, especially to leaders, governmentally. We all exchange the funny stuff and our political views and whatnot on social media, but take it to the government, take it to the leaders. Maybe we can't go out and demonstrate, but we can definitely pick up a phone, or we can write a letter or an email. So that's what we have going on with the strong Aries energy right now, and the strong Capricorn energy, and the shift from Capricorn to Aquarius with the planet Saturn, which is a reality check planet. We also have Mars moving relatively quickly coming up behind it, so this will also put some of that active energy into new constructs and doing things differently and taking care of things that must be done in a certain way, that must address the immediate needs of people. Mercury in Pisces, because we went through a retrograde back in February and a little bit of March, we have it still a bit behind Aries, and Venus in Taurus. These three planets always travel close together. You'll never find them on opposite sides of the chart. You can find them in three consecutive signs as they are right now, but you won't find them scattered all over the place. So Mercury's lagging behind, and I feel like there's still a lot of hope or idealism. This can also bring some compassion and make people more patient or tolerant. This can also focus your mind on things of a spiritual nature, and maybe some people are returning to a particular faith during this time, or they're looking toward different modalities of being able to achieve harmony and peace within, which is great. Grow and expand on the mental level right now in terms of spirituality and faith, while you have Mercury moving through Pisces, and it is making favorable aspects. It's making a favorable aspect to the planet of change, uniqueness, and individuality in Taurus. And Taurus is a Venus-ruled earth sign, and it is very sensual. It is very artistic. It's also concerned with the safety and well-being of the herd. Everybody, is everybody safe, well fed, protected, has what they need? It rules the second house of money. Since it does make a sextile there is strong desire to be able to take care of other people, and also to turn toward, again, the powers that be and say, hey, this is what we need. Let's go do it. Let's get it moving. Let's take care of people's needs. And the unification is here through the planet Uranus, which rules Aquarius. So we have some strong Aquarian energy coming through on two levels here, that basically we need a unification. We need to treat everybody equally and address everybody's needs, not just a few, and not just let the rich get richer and the poor get poorer at a time where we have to consider people need the roof over their head, they need food, and they need medical care equally. And Mercury making a trine to the North Node in Cancer also turns thoughts toward family, because Cancer rules the fourth house of home and family. But gee, how can you create something at home and share it with other people? Perhaps it would turn into a new business for you. Perhaps it would put you on a path toward your purpose. If you have projects that are sitting there undone creatively, it is a great time to pull out those creative projects and open up to your more sensual or artistic side and work on those things while you have the positive aspects going on between Mercury and Uranus and Mercury and the North Node. So that is what's going on right now astrologically with the transits. Let's take a look at the Sapien symbol. And we are looking for rounding up to Aries of 5 degrees, a triangle with wings, the capacity for self-transcending. This is the symbol of the desire to reach a higher level of existence, of pure aspiration or devotion, of bhakti. What has emerged in the first phase of the process of differentiation is becoming aware of the possibility of further upreachings. The principle of levitation is seen as one of the two essential factors in evolution. The emergent being glorifies and deifies it, but it is still only an ideal. At this stage, nevertheless, the whole being experiences a childlike longing for its eventual realization. At this point, the last and synthesizing stage of the first fivefold unit in the cyclic process is reached. A new dimension of being is envisioned, mobilizing creative endeavors. I really can't add anything to that. I think it very well expresses what is going on right now, not just with the new moon in Aries, but all the other planetary transits at this moment. Hopefully, the new dimension that we shift into is going to accelerate and propel people into a higher level of existence. And hopefully, too, we evolve and we rise up over the things that suppress and diminish us, and that we open up to our creative endeavors. Everybody be safe, and of course, stay home, and stay in touch with each other. I will talk to you soon when we get to the full moon, or maybe earlier, because I do plan on comparing, as I mentioned, the Spanish influenza of 1918 with what we have going on presently